Commander Jun Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth battlecruiser Thunderchild. His face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the command rail tightly. On the main screen, the images from Colony 7 played in silence. No one on the bridge spoke. No one needed to. "Play the audio," Jun ordered. His second-in-command, Officer Han, looked up with concern. "Sir, I don't think." "Play it." The screams filled the bridge. Some crew members looked away. Jun did not. He watched and listened to everything. These were his people. He owed them that much. When the recording ended, Jun turned to Han. "How many survivors?" 12, Han said, "out of 432 colonists." Jun nodded slowly. "And what do we know about who did this?" Science Officer Song stepped forward. She was young, but her eyes looked old today. "They call themselves the Voth, Commander. This is our first contact with them." She pressed a button on her tablet, and a new image appeared on the screen. The Voth stood nearly 7 feet tall. Their skin was gray with patches of blue. They had 4 arms and 2 legs. Their faces had no nose, just breathing slits, and their 3 eyes formed a triangle pattern. "The survivors say they came without warning," Song continued, "but the attack itself was slow. They took their time with the colonists." "Why?" Jun asked. "What did they want?" "Nothing, sir," Han said. "No demands, no stolen resources. They just hurt people." Communications Officer Ta spoke up from his station. "Sir, we'd managed to intercept some of their communications during the attack." Officer Song has been working on translations. Song nodded. "It's still rough, but we believe they see causing pain as honorable." She looked sick as she said it. The longer they make someone suffer before death, the more respect they show to their enemy. Jun stared at the alien image. "They think torture is a sign of respect." "Yes, sir," Song replied. "From what we can tell, quick killing is seen as deeply disrespectful in their culture. They believe suffering gives their enemies time to think about their failures." The bridge fell silent again. Jun walked to the viewport and stared out at the stars. "Earth Command has ordered us to investigate and assess the threat," Han said, breaking the silence. "They want to know if this was an isolated incident or the beginning of something bigger." Jun turned back to his crew. "Where are the survivors now?" "Medical Bay," Han said. "Dr. Ryu says 3 won't make it through the night." Jun's jaw tightened. "I want to speak with those who can talk. And I want everything we have on the Voth. Their ships, their weapons, their culture." "Sir," Military Strategist Park spoke up from his station. "Earth Command hasn't authorized retaliation yet. They're still hoping for diplomatic contact." Jun looked at the frozen image of Colony 7 on the screen. A child's toy lay in the dirt next to a dark stain. "We will follow orders," he said quietly. "Set course for the colony. Maximum speed." As the Thunderchild's engines powered up, Jun remained at the viewport. The stars blurred as the ship entered hyperspace. Later that night, Jun sat alone in his quarters. The faces of the dead colonists looked back at him from his tablet. Men, women, children, all screaming, all taking too long to die. His comm unit beeped. "Commander," Han's voice came through. "Long-range sensors have detected 3 Voth ships near Outpost 12. They haven't attacked yet, but their approach pattern matches what happened at Colony 7. Jun closed the images on his tablet. "Change course. Tell the crew to prepare for combat." "Sir, Earth Command still hasn't." "I know what they haven't authorized, Officer Han. I also know what I saw today. We're changing course." As he ended the communication, Jun looked at the final image still open on his tablet, a Voth warrior standing over a human colonist. He closed the file. "Let's see how much you respect quick deaths," he whispered. Science Officer Han Song had not slept in 20 hours. Her eyes burned as she studied the Voth communications on her screen. The symbols and sounds made little sense at first, but patterns were emerging. The translation program was slowly learning. "You should rest," said Commander June from the doorway. Han looked up, surprised. "I'm fine, sir. I need to understand them." June walked in and looked at her work. The screen showed video of Voth warriors. They were talking while standing over human bodies. "What have you learned?" June asked. Han pointed to the screen. "The Voth have a saying that translates roughly as honor through pain. Their entire culture is built around it." She played a short clip. "This warrior is being praised because his victim took 3 hours to die." June's face hardened. "And they think this makes them, what? Superior. They see it as respectful," Han explained. "A quick death is shameful to them. It means the victim wasn't worthy of time and attention." The door opened again, and military strategist Ju Park entered, carrying tablets. "Commander, we'll reach the Voth ships in 4 hours." "What's our plan?" June asked. Park laid out 3 tablets on Han's desk. "The Voth ships are strong but slow. They don't need to be fast, because they don't usually kill quickly." He showed diagrams of the alien vessels. "Their weapons are designed to disable rather than destroy. They want captives, not space debris." Han pointed to something in the Voth language displays. "I've been analyzing their battle communications too. They announce their attacks with specific phrases about the suffering they plan to cause. It's like ritual to them." June studied the ship diagrams. "So they're not prepared for an enemy who aims to kill quickly." "Exactly," Park said. "Their shields are strong in the front where they expect to take hits while they close in. But their engines are relatively unprotected. They don't expect enemies to try ending fights fast." Han looked troubled. "Sir, Earth Command still wants diplomatic contact first." June turned to the window. The stars streaked by as Thunderchild raced toward Outpost 12. "We'll try talking," he said, "but I need options if that fails." Park nodded. "I have some ideas based on Officer Song's findings." Later on the bridge, Communications Officer Tay reported, "We're within range of Outpost 12. Long-range scans show the 3 Voth ships surrounding the outpost. They haven't attacked yet." "Open a channel," June ordered. "Channel open," Ta confirmed. June stood straight. "This is Commander Jum Kim of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are approaching a human settlement. State your purpose." The screen flickered, showing a Voth with elaborate markings on its gray-blue skin. "We are Voth," the alien said in rough human language. "We bring honor to worthy enemies." "We don't want conflict," Jun replied. "We ask you to leave human space." The Voth made a sound like grinding stones. Laughter, perhaps. "Humans must learn proper death. Quick killing is shameful. We teach proper respect." The screen suddenly split to show the outpost. Civilians were being herded into the open by Voth warriors. "To show our superior ways," the Voth continued, "we share the honor giving with you. Listen." The screams began, just like Colony 7. June cut the audio with a sharp gesture. The bridge crew looked to him. "Officer Park," June said quietly, "implement your plan." Park stepped forward. "Weapons ready, sir. Targeting Voth engine sections." "All weapons?" June asked. Park nodded. "Maximum yield. They won't expect it." June looked at the screen once more. The Voth leader was still talking, explaining the honor they were bringing to the humans at the outpost. "Fire," June ordered. The Thunderchild's weapons hit all 3 Voth ships simultaneously. There was no warning, no ritual, no announcement of suffering to come. Just sudden, overwhelming force. 2 Voth ships exploded instantly. The 3rd spun away, badly damaged. "Sir," Ta said, sounding shocked, "the surviving Voth ship is retreating. They're broadcasting some kind of alarm signal." Han listened through her earpiece. "They're saying, the humans show no respect. They give no honor. They are empty ones." June watched the damaged Voth ship limp away. "I think," Park said slowly, We just scared them. Incoming transmission from Earth Command. Communications Officer Tay announced. His voice was tight. Commander Jum Kim nodded. He had been expecting this. Put it through to my ready room. Inside his private office, Jum sat straight as Fleet Admiral Da Yun's face appeared on the screen. The older man's expression was hard to read. Commander Kim, Admiral Yun said, "You engaged the Voth without authorization." "Yes, sir," Jun replied simply. "They were attacking our people. I've reviewed your report and the footage." The Admiral paused. "The Voth ship that escaped has returned to their territory. Our deep space monitors indicate unusual activity in their fleet." Jun leaned forward. "They're preparing to attack." "We believe so," Yun confirmed, "but something's different. Your science officer's analysis of their communications suggests they're afraid." "Afraid, sir?" "Of how we fight." Admiral Yun's image was replaced by data and video recordings. "This is from your engagement. Notice how the Voth react when you destroy their ships quickly." Jun watched the footage. The Voth communications showed panic, not just from being attacked, but specifically from how fast their comrades died. Admiral Yun reappeared. "Your military strategist's report suggests this is a psychological vulnerability we can exploit." "Yes, sir," Jun said. "Officer Park believes their entire combat doctrine is built around slow, painful victory. They aren't prepared for enemies who kill efficiently." "Commander, I'm authorizing Operation Mercy. The Thunderchild will be joined by 3 more ships. You'll intercept the Voth fleet before they reach our space." 3 days later, the Thunderchild led a small battle group near the edge of human territory. Weapons Officer Min Choi stood at his station on the bridge. 4 Voth warships detected, Min reported. "They're moving in attack formation." Jun nodded to Park. "Is everyone clear on the battle plan?" "Yes, sir," Park said. "All ships understand the new protocol. Hit hard, hit fast, no warnings." Han Song spoke from her science station. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Voth." On screen, Jun ordered. A Voth commander appeared. Its gray-blue skin had red markings that hadn't been seen before. "Humans," the Voth said, "you dishonor yourselves with quick killing. We will teach you proper respect through pain. Your deaths will be slow, as is honorable." Jun stood and faced the screen. "This is Commander Kim. We have a message for you as well." He nodded to Park, who transmitted a single word in the Voth language, the word for mercy. The Voth commander looked confused. Before it could respond, Jun gave the order. "All ships, execute Operation Mercy." The human ships fired in perfect unison. New weapons designed by Min Choi released concentrated energy bursts that overwhelmed Voth shields instantly. 2 enemy ships exploded before they could even return fire. "Sir," Han called out, "the remaining Voth ships are breaking formation. They're panicking." On the screen, they watched as one Voth ship crashed into another while trying to turn away. Both exploded in bright flashes. "They're broadcasting distress signals," Tay reported. "Officer Song, can you translate?" Han listened through her headset. Her eyes widened. "They're calling us. The empty ones again. And something else." She hesitated. "I think the closest translation is Soul Stealers." Officer Park moved to Jun's side. "They think we're stealing their honorable deaths." "No Voth survivors," Min reported. The engagement lasted 47 seconds. The bridge was quiet. Everyone felt the weight of what had just happened. They had discovered an enemy's greatest fear, not death itself, but quick death. Death without what they considered honor. Jun looked at the empty space where the Voth ships had been. "Officer Tay, send a message to Admiral Yun. Operation Mercy was successful. All targets neutralized." He paused. "And add this. I believe we found the Voth's weakness. They fear our mercy." 2 weeks after Operation Mercy, the Thunderchild orbited Earth. Commander Jun Kim stood in the large meeting room at Fleet Headquarters. The walls displayed maps of human space and known Voth territories. Admiral Yoon sat at the head of the table with 5 other high-ranking officers. They had been discussing the Voth situation for hours. "The psychological effect is undeniable," said General Lee, looking at the battle data. 3 more engagements, all with the same result. When we kill quickly, the Voth break formation and retreat. "But they keep coming back," another officer pointed out. "They've attacked 7 more outposts." Communications specialist Ta Li stepped forward when Admiral Yoon nodded to them. "We've translated more of their messages," Ta said. "The Voth leadership is calling us dishonored creatures and mercy givers. That last term is meant as an insult." Science officer Han Song stood next to a display of Voth biology. "Their culture cannot accept our way of fighting. To them, giving a quick death is the ultimate disrespect." Admiral Yoon turned to Jun. "Commander, your Operation Mercy has been effective, but we need to end this conflict. The Voth must understand we won't change how we fight." Jun had been quiet during most of the meeting, thinking. Now he looked up at the star map. "Sir, I believe we need to send a clearer message," he said, "not just through our actions, but with words they'll understand." "What do you propose?" Admiral Yoon asked. Jun walked to the map and pointed to a large Voth military base near the border of human space. "Their main forward base. We send a single message, followed by a demonstration they cannot ignore." Military strategist G. Park, who had been working on tactical plans, looked concerned. A direct attack on their forward base would require at least 15 ships. "Not if we use the new weapons Min Choi has been developing," Jones said. "And not if we attack in a way they can't predict." Later, on the bridge of the Thunderchild, June looked at his crew. They had all volunteered for this mission, even knowing the risks. "Are we in position?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Officer Park confirmed. "The Voth base is in range. They've detected us but seem confused by our presence. Just 1 ship against their base." "They're hailing us," Tay reported. On screen, Jun ordered. A Voth military leader appeared. Its skin was darker than others they had seen, with elaborate markings covering its face. "Human vessel," the Voth said, "you have entered Voth space. Your ship will be captured. Your deaths will be honorable and slow." Jun stood tall. "This is Commander Kim of the Earth Defense Fleet. I have a message for your leaders." He nodded to Han, who had prepared the translation. "Voth Empire," Jones said clearly. "You have attacked human settlements and killed our people. This stops now. You see our way of fighting as dishonorable. We see your way as cruel. One of us must change." He paused, letting the words sink in. "We will not change. This is your only warning. All Voth ships must leave human space immediately. If you continue to attack us, we will respond with mercy." The Voth leader made the grinding sound they now knew was laughter. "One small ship threatens the Voth. Your death will take days, Commander." Jun looked at Min. "Officer Choi, show them our mercy." Min pressed a series of commands. The new weapon system came online, a concentrated pulse designed by Earth scientists based on the data from previous engagements. The pulse hit the Voth base. There was no explosion, no fire. Instead, the base simply stopped. All power, all systems, all weapons shut down instantly. "Transmission sent on all Voth frequencies," Ta said. On those frequencies in the Voth language was a simple message. "We could have killed everyone at this base in seconds. Instead, we showed true mercy, the choice to live. Next time, we will not be so merciful. Leave human space." As the Thunderchild turned and jumped to faster-than-light speed, the crew was silent. They had just escalated the conflict in a way that couldn't be ignored. "Do you think they'll understand the message, sir?" Han asked quietly. "They'll understand," Jun replied. "The question is whether they'll accept it." The Voth High Command chamber was dark. 7 tall figures stood around a circular table, their gray-blue skin looking almost black in the dim light. Holograms showed the disabled military base. "Unacceptable," growled Supreme War Leader HFY. "The humans have dishonored our warriors. They did not even fight." "They could have destroyed everyone at the base," said another leader. "Instead, they showed restraint. Restraint is weakness." HFY slammed all four of his hands on the table. "We must teach these humans proper respect for war." The decision was made. The Voth would launch a major attack on 3 human colonies at once. They would show humans the true meaning of honor through suffering. 3 days later, alarm sirens blared throughout Earth Fleet headquarters. Admiral Yoon rushed into the command center where large screens showed the incoming Voth fleet. 30 warships divided into 3 attack groups. "They're targeting New Sydney, Proxima Colony, and Titan Base," reported the tactical officer. "Estimated arrival 6 hours." Admiral Yoon's face was grim. "They've rejected Commander Kim's warning." "Sir," said a communications officer, "we've intercepted Voth transmissions. They're broadcasting rituals, war prayers. They're saying this will be the great teaching where humans learn proper death." Admiral Yoon nodded slowly. "Deploy the fleet according to Protocol Mercy. All ships are authorized to use the new weapons. And send a message to the Thunderchild. Tell Commander Kim his battle doctrine is now official fleet policy." On the bridge of the Thunderchild, now leading a battle group of 5 ships, Commander Jun received the message. He had been promoted to captain after the Voth base mission. "Sir," Weapons Officer Min reported, "all ships are equipped with the new pulse weapons and instant kill torpedoes." Captain Jun looked at the tactical display. His battle group was assigned to defend Proxima Colony, where 10 Voth warships were heading. "The Voth believe we'll give in," he said to his officers. "They think if they attack with enough ships, we'll abandon our dishonorable quick killing and fight their way." Military Strategist Park nodded. "They expect us to adapt to them. But we won't," Jun said firmly. Officer Tay broadcast the standard warning. 1 message, then silence. Tai sent the now familiar words, "Surrender and receive imprisonment, or receive our mercy." The human ships waited as the Voth fleet approached. The alien vessels moved in a ceremonial formation, their weapons powering up slowly in a display meant to cause fear. "They're broadcasting death chants," Han reported from her station. "And they're sending images of what they did at Colony 7. They want us to be afraid of suffering." Jun's face hardened. "Officer Min, target their command ships first. Maximum yield." "Officer Park, execute the flanking maneuver we practiced." The 5 human ships suddenly broke formation. Instead of meeting the Voth head-on as expected, they accelerated to full speed and curved around to attack from multiple angles. "Fire," Jun ordered. The new weapons hit the Voth fleet like lightning. 3 ships vanished instantly. 4 more lost power and drifted helplessly. The remaining Voth vessels tried to regroup, but the human attack had been too sudden, too efficient. "Sir," Han called out, "I'm picking up unusual transmissions from the Voth ships. They're not battle commands. They're prayers." On the main screen, they watched as the remaining Voth ships tried to flee. The battle had lasted less than 3 minutes. 7 enemy ships destroyed, 3 disabled, with no human casualties. "They're sending a message to their homeworld," Tay reported. Han listened through her headset and then looked up, her eyes wide. "They're calling us gray ghosts. They're saying we steal souls." She paused. "Captain, they're terrified." Jun looked at the fleeing Voth ships. "Send another message." 1 word only. The human ships transmitted a single word in the Voth language. Mercy. Intelligence Officer Su Kim walked into the meeting room aboard the Thunderchild. Captain Jun and the other officers were waiting. On the screens around them were images of recent battles with the Voth. Each showed the same result: quick, decisive human victories. "The Voth are changing their tactics," Su said, placing her tablet on the table. "They're moving in smaller groups now, attacking and retreating quickly. They're learning." Military strategist Park observed. Sue nodded. Yes, but not in the way we expected. They aren't adapting to our fighting style. They're trying to avoid us entirely. She showed them new intelligence images. Voth ships were now marked with strange symbols not seen before. Our translators say these are religious markings, Sue explained. Protection symbols against what they call soul theft. Captain June leaned forward. They truly believe we're taking their souls by killing them quickly. Yes, sir, Sue confirmed. And there's more. We've intercepted communications from their homeworld. The Voth public is getting afraid. Their warriors are supposed to return with stories of honorable battles. Instead, the few who return speak of humans who kill without proper respect. Communications specialist Toss spoke up. Their language doesn't even have a good word for our kind of mercy. The closest translation is empty killing or honor theft. Science Officer Han had been quiet, thinking. Now she looked up. Sir, I believe we can use this to end the war faster. Everyone turned to her. The Voth fear our way of fighting more than death itself, Han said. What if we make that fear work for us? What if we turn mercy into a psychological weapon? 3 days later, a small Voth raiding party approached a human mining outpost. The 5 Voth ships moved cautiously, sensors sweeping for human vessels. Their commander, a veteran of 3 battles with humans, watched nervously. He had survived when his ship had been disabled rather than destroyed. He had seen what the humans did to his comrades, giving them no time for proper death ceremonies, no time to prepare their spirits. No human ships detected, his sensor officer reported. The commander relaxed slightly. Begin the attack pattern. Remember, if humans appear, we retreat immediately. No engagement. Suddenly, all communications channels activated at once. A single human word came through every speaker on every Voth ship. Mercy. The word was left untranslated, in the human language. Just that one word. The Voth commander felt cold fear. Where are they? Scan everything. Before his crew could respond, 3 human ships appeared from behind the moon. They had been hiding, waiting. Retreat, the commander shouted, panic in his voice. Full speed. But it was too late. The human ships fired their weapons, not to destroy, but to disable. The Voth ships drifted powerless in space. On the bridge of the lead human vessel, Captain Jun watched the disabled Voth ships. All Voth vessels neutralized, reported the weapons officer. No casualties on either side. Send the second message, Jun ordered. Tai transmitted the carefully prepared words in the Voth language. We could have given you mercy. Instead, we offer you life. Return to your world with this message. The gray ghosts can choose who lives and who receives mercy. Across Voth space, similar scenes played out. Human ships appeared suddenly, disabled Voth vessels, and left the crews alive, but terrified. Back on Earth, Admiral Yoon met with the Defense Council. Intelligence Officer Su's psychological warfare approach is working, he reported. Voth attacks have decreased by 70% in just 2 weeks. And the word mercy, asked a council member. It has become a weapon more powerful than any torpedo, Yoon said. Voth ships retreat at its mere mention. The admiral looked at the latest reports. Captain Kim was right. They fear our mercy more than our guns. Supreme War Leader Ketva paced in his private chamber. The large room was filled with battle trophies from a lifetime of warfare, but none from humans. No Voth had managed to take a human trophy. Enter, he growled when someone knocked. A Voth scientist came in and bowed. Supreme Leader, the special warriors are ready. Ketva followed the scientists to a large laboratory. Inside, 20 Voth warriors stood in formation. They looked different from normal Voth. Their skin was darker, and their eyes had a strange, empty look. These warriors have been changed, the scientist explained. We have blocked their pain receptors and altered their brain chemistry. They cannot feel fear. They cannot feel pain. Ketva walked among them, studying their blank faces, And they will not fear the human mercy. No, Supreme Leader. They will fight until destroyed. They will not retreat. They will not send fear messages. They will give our people time to attack properly. HFY nodded slowly. And how many of these warriors can you make? As many as needed, the scientist replied. The process takes only 3 days. On the other side of space, Captain Jum Kim was meeting with his officers aboard the Thunderchild. The mood was cautiously optimistic. Voth attacks have decreased across all sectors. Military strategist Park reported. Our psychological warfare is working. For now, Jum said. He looked troubled, but the Voth leadership is proud. They won't accept defeat easily. Science Officer Han and Medical Officer Jun Ryu entered the meeting room. They had been working together for weeks on something new. Captain, Han said, we believe the Voth will try to adapt to our tactics. They may find ways to overcome their cultural fear of quick death. Jun nodded. If they can remove fear from their warriors, our current approach may become less effective. What do you suggest? Jun asked. Jun placed a small device on the table. We've developed a new non-lethal weapon. Instead of killing quickly or disabling ships, this will paralyze Voth bodies, but leave their minds fully aware. The room went quiet as everyone understood the implications. They would be conscious but unable to move. Jun asked. Yes, Han said. They would be alive, unable to fight, but fully aware of everything. No pain, no death, just complete helplessness. For a culture built around causing pain and slow death, Jun explained, being completely helpless, but feeling nothing would be worse than any quick death. Jun looked at the device for a long time. You're suggesting we move from mercy killing to what? Mercy paralysis. We're calling it absolute mercy, Han said. It would allow us to capture Voth rather than kill them. But for them, it might be more terrifying than death. 3 days later, a fleet of 15 Voth ships attacked a human space station. The fleet moved differently than previous Voth forces, faster, more aggressive, without the usual caution. The Thunderchild and its battle group arrived quickly. As usual, they transmitted the single word mercy before engaging. But this time, the Voth ships didn't retreat. They charged forward, weapons firing. Something's different, Weapons Officer Min said as he returned fire. They're not responding to our usual tactics. The battle was harder than any they had fought before. The Voth ships took heavy damage, but continued fighting until destroyed. When they captured one smaller Voth vessel, Medical Officer Jun went aboard with a security team. He returned to the Thunderchild looking concerned. These Voth have been chemically altered, Jun reported to Captain Jun. Their brains can't process fear. They're like living weapons. Jun nodded grimly. They've adapted to our mercy. Time for us to adapt too. He turned to Communications Officer Ta. Send a message to all ships. Deploy the new absolute mercy weapons. The next wave of Voth ships met something they couldn't have prepared for. Beams that didn't kill or destroy, but left crews paralyzed and helpless, their minds fully aware but bodies completely useless. The reports that reached Supreme War Leader HFY from those ships made him, for the first time, truly afraid of humans. Sociologist Yun Kang sat in a quiet room aboard the science vessel Curiosity. Around her were screens showing Voth cultural data, images, texts, and recordings collected over the months of conflict. Her job was to understand how the war was changing Voth society. A knock at the door interrupted her work. Captain Jum Kim entered, now wearing the uniform of a rear admiral after his recent promotion. Dr. Kang, Jun said with a small bow. Thank you for agreeing to meet me. Admiral Kim, Yun replied. I've been hoping to speak with you. Your battle doctrine has had unexpected effects. Jun sat across from her. That's why I'm here. Earth Command is concerned about reports of unrest in Voth territory. Yun nodded and turned to her main screen. What began as a military tactic has become something much more. Look at these. The screen showed images from Voth cities. Young Voth were wearing symbols that looked like the human word mercy written in their language. Some had painted their skin with patterns that mimicked human ship markings. A youth movement. June asked. Surprise. More than that, Yun said. Your mercy has sparked a cultural revolution. Young Voth are questioning their most basic beliefs about honor and suffering. She showed more images. Voth security forces arresting protesters, public debates among Voth leaders, religious ceremonies being interrupted. Their entire society is built on the idea that causing pain is respectful, Yun explained. But now, many Voth are asking, what if humans are right? What if quick killing, or no killing at all, is actually more honorable? June looked troubled. We didn't intend to change their culture. We just wanted to stop their attacks. Cultural change often happens through unexpected means, Yun said. There's more. We've received a request from a Voth who wants to defect to human space. Later that day, June sat in a secure room aboard the Thunderchild. Across from him was a Voth unlike any he had seen before. This one was smaller, with lighter skin and no battle markings. A scholar, not a warrior. I am Tekra, the Voth said in careful human language. Thank you for meeting me. Why did you want to defect? June asked directly. Tekra's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. I teach history to young Voth. For many cycles, I have questioned our ways. The human concept of mercy. It confirms what some of us have long suspected, which is that our ancestors changed our history, Tekra said. Before the war leader caste took control, our ancient texts suggest we once had different ideas about honor. It was not always about causing pain. The Voth scholar leaned forward. Do you know what humans have become in Voth stories? Spirits of judgment. Soul stealers who decide who deserves an honorable death and who doesn't. June hadn't expected this. We're just trying to protect our people. Yet you've become something greater in Voth minds. Tekra said, you are changing how my people think about warfare itself. Young Voth asked, if humans can win without causing unnecessary suffering, why can't we? Communications Officer Tai entered the room and whispered something to June. The Admiral's expression grew serious. What is it? Tekra asked. Supreme War Leader Ketva has ordered a final major assault on human territory, Jun said. All remaining Voth ships are being gathered. Tekra's skin changed color slightly, the Voth equivalent of going pale. He fears losing control. The cultural movement is growing too strong. He believes a great victory will restore faith in the old ways. June stood up. How much time do we have? 3 days at most, Tekra said. But Admiral, there is something else you should know. Not all Voth ships will fight for Ketva. Some captains have secretly embraced the new thinking. They use your word, mercy, as their code. As June left to prepare Earth's defenses, he realized the conflict had become more than a war between species. It was now a battle for the soul of Voth civilization itself. The largest fleet in Earth's history waited in formation near Jupiter. 50 warships, led by Admiral Jung Kim aboard the flagship Thunderchild, prepared for the coming Voth assault. Intelligence reports confirmed that Supreme War Leader Ketva had gathered over 70 Voth vessels for a final desperate attack. On the Thunderchild's bridge, June looked at his original crew. Han, Park, Ta, Min, Jun, and now Yun, and the Voth defector Tekra. Any updates on Voth ship movements? June asked. They've entered the solar system, Park reported, but something strange. They're moving slowly, almost hesitantly. Tekra stepped forward. Many captains may be reluctant to fight. The cultural division has reached even the highest ranks. June nodded. Officer Tay, prepare a special broadcast. I want to speak directly to all Voth ships. As the Voth fleet approached, a message went out on all frequencies in both human and Voth languages. This is Admiral Jung Kim of Earth. To all Voth vessels, we have no desire for further conflict. We understand that many of you question this war. Those who wish peace may power down weapons and move to Sector 7. You will not be harmed. Those who follow Supreme War Leader Ketva, be warned. We will show no mercy to attackers. On the Voth command ship, Ketva roared in anger as 15 of his vessels immediately broke formation and moved toward the designated sector. Traitors, he shouted. Attack now. Show these humans true Voth honor. The remaining Voth ships surged forward. The human fleet held position, weapons ready. Sir, Communications Officer Tag called out, we're receiving a transmission from the Voth command ship. Ketva's face appeared on screen. Human Admiral, he snarled, you have corrupted my people with your dishonorable ways. Today I will restore true honor to the Voth. Your death will take days, and your screams will echo across space. June stood calmly. Supreme War Leader, I offer you one last choice. Surrender or receive our mercy. Ketva made the grinding laugh they now knew well. Your mercy means nothing. Attack. The Voth ships fired first. The human fleet responded with perfect coordination. The battle was intense but brief. The new human weapons disabled Voth ships without destroying them, leaving crews paralyzed but conscious. Within minutes, only the Voth command ship remained fighting. It charged directly at the Thunderchild, weapons firing desperately. Target their engines only, Jun ordered. Disable, don't destroy. The precision strike hit the command ship's engine section. The massive vessel drifted powerless in space. We've received surrender signals from all remaining Voth vessels, Tay reported. And the command ship? Jun asked. No surrender, Min replied. But they're completely disabled. Jun turned to Tekra. What happens now for your people? The Voth scholar's 3 eyes blinked thoughtfully. Without Ketva, the reformers will gain power. But the change will not be easy. Our culture has followed the old ways for thousands of years. 6 months later, Admiral Jum Kim stood in a large hall on Earth. Before him were 20 young Voth, the first group allowed to study at human universities. Among them was Tekra, now an official cultural ambassador. These students will learn your concepts of mercy, ethics, and conflict resolution, Tekra explained. They will return to teach others. And Supreme War Leader Ketva? Jun asked. He faces judgment by our new Council of Elders, Tekra said. Many want him punished in the traditional way with prolonged suffering, but others suggest showing him mercy. It would be the ultimate statement that our culture has changed. Later, Jun walked alone in a memorial garden built for those who died at Colony 7, the first victims of the Voth. He stopped at a simple stone marker that read, "They taught us the true power of mercy." A young officer approached and saluted. "Admiral, the Voth reform government has sent their peace treaty. They've officially adopted a new military doctrine." "What does it say?" Jun asked. The officer handed him a tablet. On it was written in both human and Voth languages. Honor comes not from causing suffering, but from preventing it when possible. True strength is shown through mercy. The war was over, and both species had changed forever.